In Essentials, we have multiple pre-configured data uploaded in the system. User roles. I introduced you to a form called security roles, permissions. Those are all pre-configured for Essentials. But if an administrator decides to configure it or customize it, they have the ability to do so. But Essentials is provided with a pre-configured set of roles and permissions. I mentioned that I will come back to dashboards and reports later. This is the moment. What is a dashboard? It gives you a high level view of project data or enterprise data. And enterprise essentials come up with a preloaded set of dashboards. Every user can create their own dashboards, or administrators can create the dashboards and assign it to different roles. Reports. Essentials come with standard set of reports at different locations. We have report galleries, we have reports inside each form. Those are configured by Aurigo for Essentials, and you will be able to see those reports. Workflows. For every record, budget estimate, fund source, each of these four functional forms will have business process flow associated to them. And at each stage in the business process flow, where there are different roles who can perform the actions in that stage, all of those are pre-configured and automated within the system. Library, we have managed reusable data. Some of the examples that I showed you was project type and project category. Those are all defined in library, which you can reuse. Online help, which I talked about initially. At any time, if anybody is stuck and they want to read more about it, they can anyway click that help and it will give you context sensitive information related to the form that you are currently in. These are some of the pre-configured information. Now let me tell you about dashboards, reports, and I'll talk about library after that. Dashboards, as I mentioned, it provides a bird's eye view of the individual data and overall project related information across the system. And multiple pre-configured dashboards are provided by Essentials for all of you to use and see the data at a high level. And you can switch between different dashboards that are available for you. Also, like I said, you can customize your own dashboard. And in Essentials, there are three places in which you can see dashboards: enterprise dashboards, project dashboards, and contract dashboards. Let me talk about each of that now. Like I said, when I'm in the home module, I land on a dashboard on the right side, correct? So in this case, what I see here is the enterprise dashboard. Enterprise dashboard gives you bird's eye view of all the projects that are available in the application, provided you have access to view the records of all the projects. So that is enterprise dashboard. And then the other option that I showed you is project dashboard. So every time I created a project, or opened a project, I landed on a dashboard called project dashboard. So that's the second place where you'd see a project dashboard. This is the project dashboard. Within a project, you have your contracts, and you can see dashboards at the contract level as well. So I'm opening an existing project, which gives you actual data. So in this project, you have some data that are available for a project manager to take a quick look and take decisions accordingly. Within a project, if I go to a contract, this is the contract list page. When I open any contract, for that contract also, I will be landed on a contract dashboard. So contract dashboard, as I mentioned, this is the contract dashboard, which gives you the data related to this particular contract from a bird's eye view. Okay? You can see the dashboards. You might wonder if I can create my own dashboard. Yes, you can. So let's say I'm on the home module again. In the home module, there are a pre-configured list of dashboards created for Essentials users: enterprise resource dashboard, enterprise summary, executive dashboard, and portfolio summary. These are pre-configured dashboards created for Essential users. I have created my own dashboard called Training Manager Dashboard. This is a dashboard that I created for myself. So how do I do it? I click New. I can provide a name for the dashboard. And please note that this visible to and roles are appearing only if I have administrator rights. If I do not have administrator rights, I will only have the option to enter the name of the dashboard, description, and the layout that I want to select and save and design. So once I do that, I will land on the dashboard page, which will be called, it will land on a page like this with options to add widgets within this. Okay, I'll show you that. So when I create a new dashboard, I will land on something like this, where I have web parts, each web parts, and on each web part, what is it that I want to add? So this web part will have options where I can provide the Aurigo created report viewers within them. These are all reports which are added to create a dashboard, basically. So under web part one, I want to add a new report viewer. Okay, I selected the report viewer, I click add. Once I do that, I will go to the mode, I'll change the mode to edit widgets. I change the mode to widgets, edit widgets. I see a pencil icon in the report viewer 2. I click that and I see a list of options from which I can pick the data. So you have these different options here. I am going to pick executive dashboard and I click apply and I change the mode to view. So under executive dashboard for this, whatever I have access to, I see all the data listed here. Okay. Likewise, I can create my dashboard, add more widgets to my dashboard, all of that I can do. But this dashboard will be visible only to me. If another user is logging in, they will not see the dashboard that I've created for myself. They will only see the dashboards that are applicable for their roles, which is coming under role-based dashboards. So this is how you can create a dashboard. And at any time you want to see the dashboard that you want to see as default, you can mark that as default. So every time you log in, that would be the dashboard that you would see. And you want to change it, you can always click the drop down and change the dashboards. So these are the pre-configured dashboards that are created for Essentials. Similarly, like in Enterprise dashboard, you can there are pre-configured dashboards available at the project level and at the contract level. So that naturally leads us to the next question. I did mention the term reports. Where are they configured? So reports, there are different places in which Aurigo has built reports which can be used for Essentials users, starting from report gallery at the home module. So at the home module, we have a common set of reports created, grouped under report gallery at the home module. Let's say I want to pick budget versus actions. This is a report that I want to view. When I open that, I would see a list of projects, original budget, current budget, project cost, remaining cost, and the status of that budget. All of this are listed, which this is a report which gives me a budget versus actual cost for these projects that I'm invited to. So this is one of the reports. And any report that you are viewing, you can subscribe to the report as well. So when I subscribe, I provide an email and I will provide a subject. And if I want to provide when I want to stop this particular report to be sent out, I can do that as well. And once I do all of that information, I can provide the frequency. How often do I want this report to be generated and sent out to those email IDs? I can do that as well. Once I subscribe a certain set of users to this report, as a team member, if you want to subscribe this user to your team members, subscribe this report to your team members, then they will start receiving this report on a weekly basis or a monthly basis or a yearly basis based on how you have subscribed to it. You can also print a report. You can save a report in Excel or a PDF. And at any time when you want to refresh the report, that data that you're seeing, you can refresh that as well. Because sometimes when you're viewing the record, somebody would be creating records in the background as well. And you want to see the latest information, you click refresh. And if any background information has gotten added while you were generating the report, that will get updated. So this is how the concept of report. One is a report gallery, and within each project as well, you will have these report galleries available. Under Cover Street extension, you have reports related to a project listed there. So in right now, this is a report gallery at an enterprise level. You will have report galleries within a project as well. So under project, this is Cover Street expansion. You have a report gallery for projects too. So right here, we have project report gallery, which will give you reports related to the project. Similarly, we have contract report gallery too. So these are reports created by Aurigo and placed in different locations for you to see data in a report format. In addition, we have reports available within each functionality. So under budget estimate, when I click the budget estimate functionality, In the list page, you have some reports here. Details and list page are standard reports for every functionality. In addition, specific to the functionality, you have certain other date cards also. The best example is if I go to the list page of a project. So under project, we have various reports. Document activities report, inactive projects report, active project list, project cost sheet. These are all different reports related to the project. So this will vary based on the form that you're in. So these are different places in which you can access the reports. And Essentials also provides the ability to create custom reports. So when I go to home module, there is a form called ad hoc reports. I'm not going to spend time talking about ad hoc reports because it is a 1 hour session in itself. But for you to get started, I'll tell you what is the concept of an ad hoc report. So in this form, as an individual, you can create your own reports and save it for yourself. When you are wanting to see these reports at any time, you will be able to view the records and see it for yourself. And if you want to save a PDF version of it, you can do that as well. You can share this report with the select set of individuals, and they will be able to open the report and see it themselves. But the only difference between this report and the other reports that you see in those report galleries is you will not see the report that you create in ad hoc reports anywhere else in the system. And the reports that you created will be applicable only to you and the ones that you have shared them with. Other users will not be able to see the reports. So that is the purpose of ad hoc reports. A lot of people in the past have asked this question. Let's say I create an ad hoc report, which is a very meaningful report, and the organization decides that I want this report to be accessed by everybody. Can that be escalated into a report gallery type of report? In Essentials, we do not have that because of the very need of this particular type of ad hoc reporting. If we want a report to be available to everybody, reach out to, you can always reach out to Aurigo, and the Aurigo will be creating those reports and hosting it in these report galleries for you. But then again, it comes under the configuration and the contract that you have signed with Aurigo. But if you want to create your own report and keep it for yourself and share it with only your team members, you can do so in ad hoc reports. So that's what we mean by dashboards and reports. And I'll also talk about library. In library, I was showing you about the project types, calendar, and everything. In project type, if these are the different types of projects that organization wants to bucket up, and they don't want people to select anything else or enter anything else, they can define it here. And these are the only things that will come up when the project type drop-down list is selected, when the project is created by a project manager. So this is one way you can consume the data that is created in library and used in the functional module directly. If you want to create some records, for example, in this case, standard items table. So there are, in Essentials, you will have multiple areas where you'll be adding items, budget items, bid items, contract items. You will have n number of items added there. But for a user to add these items, every time they add new item, it will be a time consuming task. So as an organization, if you want to standardize the list of items that you would want to use across different projects and contracts, you can standardize those items here using standard items list. You can provide the name of the item, description of the item, the unit price of the item, everything you can provide. The type of the item, all of that you can provide here. And when a contract gets created, they will have a list of items to pick from. Once it is picked, then the user has the ability to go ahead and change the entire attributes of the item. They can go and change the name of the item there within their contract. They can change the unit price of that item within the contract. So that way, they are consuming the library data and make modifications to it. But that modification will be applicable only to the contract or a project. So we talked about library. We will also talk about the workflow. So I kept talking about business process flow, correct? So what is a business process flow? When I create a fund, let's say I go back to the enterprise module where we have your project fund list, right? In the home module. All right, so enterprise, we have global fund list. When a record gets created, it goes through a series of approval processes to get approved. So you see that Some of the records in draft, some of the records are in submitted, and some of them are in approved. So when a record is created in draft, anybody can go and make modifications to this record. When it is submitted, only certain users will be able to make changes. That also, certain fields will get be non-editable for them to make any changes to. Only certain sections they can make changes to. If it is an approved, you cannot delete the record, you cannot make any changes to the record. All of that can also be controlled. So that is controlled using your business process flow. Who defines the business process flow? Aurigo has already pre-configured these workflows in the administration module for you. So under configuration toolkit, when you go to workflow management, there are a list of workflows that are created, which are pre-configured for the users or the functionalities rather. If any administrator wants to create their own workflows, they have the ability to do so. But when they create a workflow, they need to ensure that each stage in that workflow has appropriate view stakeholders and action stakeholders assigned to them. When they have that assigned, when the form is used by the functional user and when a record gets created in draft, only certain user roles will have the permission to submit that record. Once the record is submitted, the ones who have submitted will not have the ability to make changes to it. So that will be configured in that particular second stage. So all of that controls can be done at the workflow level in the workflow list page. Once it is designed and defined, the business process flow can be properly sorted out for each functionalities. For essentials, these are pre-configured. If the customer wants to, in this case, you want to make any modifications to the workflow, any modifications to the field availability based on different stages in the workflow, that can be done in this particular form by administrators.